Hello everyone, you are welcome to the best EduCreator Show. How are you doing today? It's amazing. Today is Friday and it's weekend already. It's a wrap for this week already, right? So, well, let's just get into what our objective. On Fridays, we get to talk about famous scientists and get to talk about scientific discoveries. Today is not going to be different, as we are going to speak about Daniel Farenheit, right? But before we talk about Daniel Farenheit, I know this name sounds so familiar to our science students. Why to all our other listeners, like the arts or the commercial students, it's not familiar with this type of student, right? So now let me explain this, right? Daniel Farenheit is a famous scientist. Is in the ranks of Galileo Galilei, Isaac Newton, and all of that, right? And Isaac Newton and the Galileo Galilei we've talked about in our previous sessions, right? If you love content like this and you want to listen to Isaac Newton, his achievement and all of that, Galileo Galilei, his achievement and all of that, kindly go into our Spotify library. Also go into our Anchor library, and you can also listen on AudioMark at the best EduCreator Show. It's on AudioMark, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Apple. You can listen on YouTube as well. It's on all audio streaming platforms, right? So you can go back, you can listen to Galileo Galilei and all our previous content, right? As I've said, today is not going to be different, as we are going to talk about Daniel Farenheit. It's just a follow-up from where we have stopped earlier. So welcome everyone, welcome to the best EduCreator Show. Famous scientists. So about 2.3 million years ago, our ancestors invented their first primitive tool, the split stone, which they used for cutting and scraping. So the first primitive tool that was ever made was the split stone, which they used for cutting and scraping. So modern humans first appeared about 200,000 years ago. So you could imagine 200,000 years ago is many centuries, right? So about 500,000 years ago, about 500 years ago, they began to use language, symbols, and more complex tools. So that means as time keeps evolving, right, humans started using complex tools. They started speaking. They started developing languages and symbols as well, right? So now, as inventions and discoveries added to one another, human civilization, technology, and science advanced and evolved. So now this gets us to who Daniel Farenheit is, which is our major objective, right? So Daniel Farenheit, I know a lot of people that you cannot do physics without mentioning the name Farenheit. In fact, right from our junior school, you must have started hearing of degrees Celsius, degrees centigrade, degree Fahrenheit. Definitely Fahrenheit, whether you're a science or you're a commercial student or you're an art, you are art inclined, you must have heard of this name Fahrenheit, right from the junior school. Because right from the junior school, once you do it in basic tech or basic science, you must have heard of Fahrenheit, right? So now let's talk about who Daniel Farenheit is. Now Daniel Farenheit, his full name's Daniel Gabriel Farenheit, 1686 to 1736. 1686 to 1736, right? Was a famous scientist, right? He was a German physicist. So that means Daniel Gabriel Farenheit was a German physicist. He is famous for inventing two things. So that means Daniel Gabriel Farenheit actually lived and he invented what? Two things. He's popularly known for inventing what? Two things in the world of science, right? So, and these two things we are going to what? Talk about in today's session. We are going to still talk about these two inventions. But if you have an idea of what these two inventions is, or you have your own perspective about these two inventions, we love feedbacks. Why don't you share your feedback? Send us a voice message link on the anchor.fm app or the Spotify app, on the anchor.fm app or the Spotify app, right? So send us a message on the anchor.fm app or the Spotify app. That way we'll get to reply, we get to share with our audience, and everybody is going to benefit from it. And as well, you can contact Best EduCreator on WhatsApp and on Telegram, +234 90 867 89651. You could send in your feedbacks, your concerns, and whatever you have on WhatsApp and on Telegram, right? So now let's proceed with our objective. Now these two inventions. Now the first is, one invention was a temperature scale. So that means Gabriel Farenheit invented a temperature scale, which later became known as the Fahrenheit scale. In this scale, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and the boiling point is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So as you can see, right, his first invention was a temperature scale. And there's no way you will do physics, even at the basic school level. There's no way you will do basic science without talking about heat and thermometer and temperature. They must have taught you this in junior school, right? So, but we are going to talk about experiences, about the junior school experiences, right? And we are going to ask our fans, our audience, to share their feedback as well, right? So now let's proceed. Now in this scale, the freezing point of water is 32 degree F. So that means if you put water under 32 degree Fahrenheit, water is going to freeze, right? The boiling point of water is 212 degree Fahrenheit. So under the temperature of 212 degree Fahrenheit, water is going to boil, and under 32 degree Fahrenheit, water is going to freeze. You have block, right? Now let's proceed. Fahrenheit's others invention was a thermometer that used mercury. So aside from inventing a temperature scale, he invented a thermometer that used mercury. It was an improvement over thermometers that used alcohol, because it could measure higher temperature. So hello, our lovely our handsome boys and girls, you could become the next Gabriel Farenheit, right? You can invent something and make the world a better place, right? He has played his role. He has invented two popular inventions in the world of science. What are you waiting for? Are you the next Gabriel Farenheit, or you are going to do better than Gabriel Farenheit, right? And it's as a person, he lived a fantastic life, and that's the reason why we are talking about him today. Remember, Gabriel Farenheit lived between 1686 to 1736 and was a German physicist. He was a German physicist, and he invented two things. His first invention was a temperature scale, and his next invention was he fabricated a thermometer, right, that used alcohol. So he was responsible for alcohol thermometers, right? So once again, if you love content like this, please take actions. Please follow on the Spotify app at the Best EduCreator Show. Don't only listen, because we have let me say this, we have so many streams on Spotify. A lot of people are not taking actions. As you stream, as you listen, please become a follower, right? That it shows that we are making progress, because being a follower means you love what I do, you love the kind of content I give out. So to take actions, please don't only listen, don't only stream, become a follower. Please become a follower. And as well, you can listen on the YouTube app, at what Best EduCreator, right, on YouTube. As you listen, please subscribe, right? But I think we have so much love coming from virtually all the apps, right? So thank you so much, right? Have a blessed weekend. Bye.